Hello and welcome to Paranormally Speaking with Lynda and Mario and me, Cathryn. How's everybody doing?
Very good.
Very good. Sorry for the little bit of a delay here. We had a little bit of technical trouble, but we're all good. We're here. We're happy to be here. It's been a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be here with all of you. So, how's everybody doing?
Oh, Lynda, you go first.
Oh no, I was gonna say, go for it, Mario.
Oh, I've kind of lost my voice a bit, so we're gonna be, I'll be battling this a bit for now.
Oh no,
tonight. Yeah, otherwise everything's been okay. Yeah.
Oh,
good.
Oh,
Good.
I know. I understand because I was sick for quite a while. I got sick twice in like 3 months, so that kind of sucks. But so I haven't been around. And then I had an event that I needed to go to. And then it was both of my girls' birthdays. And it was one thing after another. So finally I'm back. I'm glad to be back. And I'm glad that you're here, Mario, too.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we're missing Trevor this week, but he's at work. He'll be back in a couple of weeks with us. So he did say he might possibly pop in if he gets the opportunity or so. So, if we see his face show up, it'll be nice to see. But yeah. Lynda, you're doing all right though otherwise?
Yeah, not bad. It's been kind of busy with family stuff and all of that. And I did a display at an event yesterday. So it was like a little busy. I love it when people come to a display that you have, and the first thing they say is, I didn't know that we had a paranormal society. And I always say, you know what? We actually have a few paranormal societies up here. And the look on their faces, they're like, really? It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Do you think that they don't know that there's a paranormal society because of the fact that maybe they don't realize how much activity is, actually going on?
I think so. What do you think, Mario?
A bit of that and a bit of everyone's just involved in their own lives. I just don't think they pay attention half the time. Not in a bad way. It's just everyone gets busy and, we get so focused in what we're doing.
That's true.
Well, and I suppose too, if you don't really need, a paranormal society, then you're probably not going to, really search it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not going to be top of your list. Yeah. Although you guys do the public meetings though, Lynda. So, people might hear about it through that.
Well, that's true. And we do tend to post them on all of our local, social media and stuff like that. But I mean, truly, all you people out there, you always need a paranormal society, right?
Always. It's just 1 inch away from normal, so you never know when it's going to creep into your life.
That's right. Well, I don't know, but I'm really excited about the show tonight, though.
Yes.
I am too. I'm really looking forward to this. So, coming to that topic, so you guys were saying that there's a lot of activity that you've been recognizing from your end. What has been going on?
Okay, Mario, you start.
I've been here for a short time, like within 5 years so far, like in Georgina. But since I've been here, I've probably had about 3 sightings. For usual sightings for me, and when I'm talking about sightings, I'm talking about anomalous lights in the sky. So that's what we're on about. So we're going to be discussing the UFOs in the sky of Georgina, right? So for me, the first one, I think it was like the one you actually sent me, Lynda. So the first sighting I had was an orange orb.
And I'm going to put that up just for a second.
Yes, that one. And it was just, at first I'm thinking, is this a star? Is this like a drone? Because, from a distance it could be obscure, but then it just kept drifting against the wind. So it's not one of those Chinese lanterns, I was like, okay. I've had a history with UFO sightings before moving here as well and in my past. So I'm always observant to the sky. But I thought, okay, I'll give this one a chance. Then there was a couple more sightings of orbs. I was like, okay, there's something more notable. Then I heard about our friend Rod Urquhart, who's passed now. He actually would research and report on how the whole area had a history of light in the sky, reports of lights coming out of the lake, which makes sense because it's a fresh water body. And the natives do have, like the indigenous people do have their own stories of lights coming out of the lake or the lake monsters, but whether that's one and the same, we don't know yet. The latest sighting was last September for me, and that was when I saw a whole flotilla of lights in the sky. And I had my laser with me, and I was shining the laser at these lights. Of course, I'm checking for any aircraft out there, just to make sure I'm not shining a laser at them. And they would twinkle out and then come back in, do the triangle formation. I was like, oh, and then one would shoot down. I'm like, okay, there's a trifecta there. But for me, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing all these anomalous lights. And Lynda, I'll pass it to you now as well.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because Mario and I don't live far away from each other at all. So we're like a block away from each other. And where we live, it's a very quiet area. Georgina's quiet anyway. And the air traffic is, little to non-existent really up here in Georgina. And where we live, there's a huge expanse of sky. We don't have big buildings. We don't have anything like that. So the sky is very dark. There's nothing that's usually happening, except, yes, there's stuff that's happening. So I have seen things throughout my time living here. And I've lived here, oh my God, I'm going to say like 37 years. So I've seen quite a few strange lights in the sky that I can't really explain. But since living in this house, and we've been here for 26 years, I've seen the same kind of thing over and over again. And just recently at like 2:30 in the morning, I was getting up to go to the bathroom. And because my window was open, I had my curtain open. And I, of course, always look out, always. And I looked up at the sky outside my window, and just above where Mario lives, I saw this orangey red light in the sky, very big, and it was orb-like, so it was round, but it was pulsing, and it was going very slowly, and then all of a sudden, it just disappeared.
So you remember when you sent me that video, and I've talked about it a few times on the show, you know what I mean, that I've had this experience. So this is I would say Stray was about 5. So I'm going to say 2010 approximately. He was just still a little guy, and he's 21 now, right? So he's, he was just a little guy. And I remember, and I also remember too, it was during a blood moon, or what they call the blood moon. And for whatever, and that was probably why I was outside. I was just sitting on the front step. I was just chilling out, like nothing really. I actually really didn't even see the moon, to be honest. It was just a really beautiful night. So I was just sitting outside, and all of a sudden there was like this orange, I didn't even see it show up. Like I didn't see it appear. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like it didn't come from anywhere. It was just suddenly there. And I mean, I'm guesstimating at this point, but I'm going to say about the size of a very large beach ball.
Yeah.
And it was above the street light, so it wasn't too far up, but it wasn't like right in my face kind of thing. But, you know, I would say just above the street light. And I remember all of a sudden looking up and there was this big fucking orange thing. And I'm like, what the hell? And I remember, I remember getting up, but I don't remember walking to the end of the sidewalk. It was like I was just there. I must have been like kind of mesmerized by it. Who knows what. But I remember looking up at it and I'm just staring at it. And it wasn't so much pulsing, but it almost looked like it had LED kind of glow to it behind it. Like it was orange, bright orange, but not hurting of the eyes in any way. But it was almost like an LED sort of glow that was coming from it. And I remember sitting there and I was like, wait a minute, I'm the only one seeing this. Like suddenly I had this realization. So I started screaming and I was like, you know, I started calling my daughter. I was like, Megan, get out here right now. And my neighbor came running out. Megan came running out, my daughter, and my 5-year-old, you know, or Andreas, I should say, came running out, all of us. And all three of them were like, shit. Dre saw it and he just lost his mind. He just started bawling. And my neighbor, like both Megan and my neighbor, you could just like, holy shit. But the thing is that it's almost as soon as it realized, I'm giving it a persona now, as soon as it realized like others were seeing it, it stayed for a few seconds, like enough for them to register that it was there.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it just went boom. And I have never seen anything fly. I don't even think that anything can fly that fast. Like this is faster than a jet. I mean, look at, we get the snowbirds or the military do, you know, like.
Yes, the flybys.
This thing was faster than those jets. This thing just boom. And you could see it head out of the city limits, but yet it was still glowing. Like it was so bright. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
It was still glowing as it was going away from you.
Oh, it was bright. Like, I mean, you could tell that it was starting to head out of the city. But at the same time, you could still see that it was, you know, it might have been like that big, but it was still this orange ball that you could definitely see. The funny thing is that the week before, my daughter was out with a bunch of friends and they were on a hill and they were kind of partying and having a good time, whatever. And she said, Mom, you know what? The weirdest thing happened. This is not the daughter that saw this with me. This is my other daughter who doesn't, you know, she wasn't living at home. She was like an adult, but, she was like, the wildest thing happened. And she's pretty much explaining the fact that there was like 3 orange orbs that showed up almost in a triangle shape while they were, I guess they were kind of laying in the grass on the top of this hill. And, you know, and at first, you know, you're thinking, well, you were probably, you know, enjoying yourself, you know, drinking a little bit, doing whatever, you know what I mean? But, you know, it was really interesting. And then to see and experience that, like literally the week later, except hers was 3 orange orbs and mine was just the one. But I was like, what the hell? So when you're trying to explain it to people, you're getting comments like, oh, it must be like St. Elmo's fire. It was a meteor. I'm like, I don't know any meteor that pauses in the middle of fucking air, but okay.
Yeah. To be honest, who's even seen St. Elmo's fire to have that reference?
Yes. Yeah. Like, you know, and it, like, you know, there's all kinds of, you know, well, it must have been this, it must have been that, it must have been this, it must have been a drone. I've never seen a drone. And if they could create a drone that went that fucking fast, well, then you would think that we would have, you know, like, especially what, like almost 20 years ago, you know, like, yeah, like, I mean, you know, and so when I saw this orange one, I was like, this is what I saw.
I mean, we've got some pretty impressive tech that can go around flying now. Like you've got the flying bicycle, like the flying bike that looks like it's straight out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You've got like what else? Obviously the drones and the drone light shows and things like that could be mistaken, but they all have to have some form of navigation lighting, and that's all recognizable. And
well, the other thing is too, is like the neighborhood. I mean, why are you coming to freaking Edmonton and the north side? Like,
oh, well, we don't
I
know
mean,
what
listen, like when we say north side, I'm not saying that I live in the ghetto, but I mean, it's pretty fucking close. Like, white ghetto.
well, I'm not,
You know
I
what I'm saying?
always
Like,
wonder whether
why would you come here?
I
If
always
it was
wonder
military
whether
or,
it's like something to do with ley lines or energy lines,
I don't
as
think we're
well as
around
the
any
body
ley
support.
line except maybe the line of drugs that some of these people in the park probably lay out. Like that's about the only line that we got going on around here. Like we're no technical, this is not a mystical battlefield or a mystical playground of any sort, except for, like I said, there's probably lines of something out in the parking lots out there.
Exactly. Like, for Canada, how we don't really have a full, like, mapped out layout of where all the ley lines are. I mean, the ley lines are pretty much a British concept.
Right.
They mapped everything out in the UK. That's why across the certain ley lines you have all these temples and the churches. Certain churches are placed there, like in East Grinstead in the UK. That's where all like Scientology temples are, and the
Right.
some monasteries are situated. A lot of pagan locations are there as well. Like the last locations where the witches were hanged was East Grinstead as well. And it's just so everything gets drawn to these sites. I think that Canada has the same sort of thing. But we've lost that history in regards to the Indigenous stories and where
Right.
they worshipped.
That's really true. But what's interesting is that I was sent a video of something that someone else had seen in 2016. So they had sent this to our team, and it was really quite an interesting thing. This young man had come to our meeting to show this video, and it was exactly, I'm telling you, exactly the same as the video, Mario, that you have of this object. It looks like it's one and the same thing.
That the one I just sent you before the chat, that is the same video you're talking about.
Yeah.
I edited it.
You edited it. Okay.
So,
but it's the same thing that you've seen, correct?
I've seen, yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can put it up here. Hang on a second.
Okay, because it's crazy.
Did you send the one I sent you to Kathy?
No.
Yeah, I got yours, Mario, the one from YouTube, but I've also got this one that Lynda sent here. I just got to figure out how to. Just a second here.
That's okay. But it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
thing.
that is. It's going to work. Okay, hang on a sec.
Okay, good.
So I gotta love the technical shit.
Oh, technology.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, sure. We're all supposed to rely on it, and yet nobody can get it to work.
There we go. Right? Okay. Can you guys see this yet? Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the one that the young man sent you, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly the same thing that I saw early Friday morning outside of my window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, exactly the same thing. It was pulsing. It was sort of exactly reddish orange.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, oh, here we go again, is what I thought. Because I've seen it multiple times. Yeah.
And the giveaway that this isn't like just a drone or anything. There's no other color lights. Or it's not an aircraft. Aircraft have to have either the green or the blue lights with it as well.
Right.
Depending on what direction it's traveling.
Well, this one was actually traveling from south to north, and it
Right.
was going sort of over where you live, Mario, which is sort of straight in line with where I am. Um,
Right.
but it's so strange because it's not high, high, high up in the sky. And
No.
it's not low, low, low either. It's
Yeah.
sort of midway, but it's so bright and it's pulsing and it's
Yes.
always the same.
And it's not a
So this
planet.
is the original footage from Mario. Can you guys see that?
That's the same video, but yeah, if you go later into the video, I zoomed in and focused on it so we could see it. But yeah, so that's the original footage from Lynda from the gentleman.
Yeah,
And
there it
here-
is.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, tell me that doesn't look like some sort of spacecraft.
Something, right? We don't know what. It's hard whether they're spacecraft or whether they are beings.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people talk about light beings and how they travel, or plasmoids, or things like that.
Right.
It's beyond our
When you
sight.
say light beings, what do you mean by that?
So, I mean, I think we would be described in our spirit sense as light beings as well.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
for these beings, some of these aliens or interdimensional beings their physical bodies might not be present in those craft, but these might be carrying their consciousness here. So they, for
Okay.
example, like astral
Okay.
projection.
So are you talking, I know, are you talking like maybe like watchers kind of thing?
Something like that. I mean,
So
they
this
seem
is
to
really
have-
interesting with all of this stuff going on, like, you know, that you guys are saying. I don't know if this has any correlation whatsoever or not, but I'm gonna throw it out there because maybe at some point it might have a correlation to it. Interesting enough, I was really drawn to reading the book of Enoch,
Yes.
which does talk about watchers, the Nephilim, all of that, right? And so I actually just got it like the other day. I haven't completely like, you know, had an opportunity to like sit with it yet, but I find that like it was interesting because before you even said that about the light being, I was like, there's something like I feel like there's a correlation kind of happening here. There's a correlation. I don't know what that correlation quite is yet. And then as soon as you said light beings, that's why I had to ask, like, what is your, what is the definition, like your definition, like describe to me what you're talking about. Because like, I don't know. I was just getting this feeling like there's some sort of correlation, I feel.
Well, see, this is
Don't
where
know what that is. Just
that
saying.
crossover with religion comes in, right?
Mhm.
So all these angelic beings, or this is probably why you hear people like J.D. Vance or other members of the American administration or other administrations, they refer to these things now as demons because, well, it's easier to make the unknown scary. So how else, we're going to rally to defend ourselves out of fear against something that's been present this whole time, because this isn't anything new. Look back through our history, we have depictions of it all the way throughout, in paintings and
Well, see,
scripture.
the interesting thing is that when I've gone on parent, like, when we used to do investigations and even sometimes when I've done readings and stuff like that, I have seen, and I've been calling them watchers for a long time, but I didn't, again, it was just a word that came to me. That's all I can say. But I would be on an investigation or even just doing a reading or whatever it was. And it was almost like there was something in like that was watching, like literally what in it. These beings are huge, like massively huge, usually cloaked, like without, like you can't see the face. And I was never really sure what they were. To me, it was almost like, I guess the best way I could describe them would be like a camera in the room, but in the form of a being. Like they weren't allowed to interact. They couldn't interfere. They could see what was happening. It was almost like they were reporting back. And I didn't understand everything that was happening. I would just see these things, as we were, like I said, in different investigations or whatever it was. So I didn't have the complete understanding of it. I still don't, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to call them watchers. And, and somebody would say, well, why wouldn't they, why don't they interfere? It's like, they can't, like, they're just, that's literally what they're doing. They're observing. They're just observing.
So to what end as well, right? Because is it just for the benefit of us? Is it for their benefit? If they've been here the whole time, are they even alien? Or did they put us here?
Right.
Did they create our religions just to manage us a little bit better? Keep us, you hear the story of Babel and, how we were building the tower and then we were all unified and gods didn't like that and gave us different languages and destroyed the tower, which I interpret as our reach towards being like them.
Right.
But,
yeah. Well, for those in the chat, if you guys have ever seen anything like that, let us know. Like, put it in the chat. Join in the conversation for sure. If you have a story, like, write it out and we'll read it for sure. Or if you have any opinion on it, definitely share it with us, because we'd like to hear your opinion also. 100%. What do you think, Lynda? What are your thoughts? Could I can see I know you by now that I see your brain ticking.
Yeah,
I literally can hear it because you're like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, put it this way. I wanted to go somewhere else in the conversation. And the reason is that, and I know, Mario, you probably know exactly where I'm going with this. When I talked about seeing this thing, I've seen this before, and I mentioned that. I've seen this before, not just here in Georgina, where I now live, but I have seen things like this my whole life. When I was a child up at our family cottage, which was basically in the middle of nowhere in the Laurentians, just north of Montreal, when we were on a freshwater lake there as well. We used to sit outside after our bonfires and stare up at the sky because it was so dark and so beautiful. And every once in a while, we would see similar things in the sky. No, we weren't on a flight path, anything like that. And I've had experiences in my home in Montreal where, there was a big, huge, bright light in the middle of the night right outside my window. No car. I mean, there was not a car headlight of any kind. And then it would be so bright and then it would disappear. And I would remember seeing this when I woke up in the morning. I'd say, geez, that was weird. My sister has mentioned it as well. And she lives just outside of Ottawa. So it's like, I seem to remember things like this throughout my life. And people that I've met, such as Mario, also, I believe, mentioned to me that they've been, an observer of things like this from like moment one. So it's like, are we all talking about it because there's some connection there? There's some, I don't know, there's some common denominator of experience with this that kind of brings us all together.
I think that's why we delve into the paranormal, because we're seeking that truth, because something came to us when we were younger. We didn't know how to interpret it. I mean, as you said, you had your past experiences, not just here, but elsewhere as well. So did I. When I was in the UK, I would see things all the time. I'd always watch the planes flying over the house, so I knew what the air traffic was. Or when there was an air show, I had this big book of aeroplanes all the time. But there'd be the times where I would see like these. This is when it was more physical. Like I would remember seeing the spheres, and I didn't realize that was a thing back then. Over the past few years, everyone keeps talking about the spheres, the spheres, the spheres.
Yes.
And then I remember watching the Doctor Who episode where all the future humans come back in time in these spheres. I'm like, oh, they're just playing with people now. But for me, when it really started was before I was born, because my mum told me that when she was coming home from, I think it was either taking my sisters to Greek school or swimming lessons, they got home, got out the car, the neighbor was there, and they started speaking to the neighbor. And in that moment, all of them started seeing this ring of lights just spin over the rooftop of the house.
Oh.
And my eldest sister apparently ran into the house, into the bedroom, looked out the window, saw more in the neighborhood. And they always used to joke that I was the outcome of that that night. And okay, thanks. So I know my family have had their experiences. Then when I started experiencing things, I started having dreams. And, you know, we all think, oh, a dream is a dream, but a dream is a perception as well. And these things come into our mind for a reason. I was always having this repetitive dream when I was younger where there'd be a giant, like it would start with a plateau of crystals, a vast plateau, and in this plateau would be this ginormous crystalline pyramid that's hovering above it. And inside the crystal pyramid would be the Egyptian Ankh, the key of life, a golden one. I remember hearing the crackle of flames all around me. In the distance was a blue mountain range, and you could see aurora. I can remember this place. I can always visualize this place every time. I used to have this dream like around the age of 6 for about a few weeks. And I'd go back, and as I'm on the plateau observing the pyramid, there'd be a translucent looking woman. What I mean by that is like her body moved like flesh, but she looked like she was a crystal. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So she'd be coming to the left of me, and as she'd get up close, she would start speaking or trying to speak, and it would, second she opened her mouth, it would be pure white noise to me.
Right.
The pyramid, the Ankh would start glowing, a beam would go to the top into the sky. She would become this light as well and join the pyramid. And then she'd shoot off through the beam. Then I would shoot off. Well, I don't remember me ascending. All I remember was the glow, and then planets moving past me or stars moving past me, and that's how I'd wake up every night.
Wow.
I remember dreams. That was the most vivid dream I used to have. That was fine up until one night. I remember having one dream where there was about, I'm not going to, 2 or 3 figures around me. And this is something that I've picked up in a lot of conversations lately, a lot of commonalities I've been hearing. But but I had wondering whether 2 or 3 figures were around me, and I was in my room, but I don't remember them appearing. I just remember it was like I was going through the wall of my bedroom, and they were around me. It was just that moment. That's all I remember of that. I don't remember what happened after that. I don't remember how they even came into the room, but that's the only part I remember. And I started thinking after I spoke to you about this, Lynda, because I don't want to say your experiences without you talking about them. So I look at the paranormal now, and after talking to quite a few people, and observing how others have reported their cases and things like that, I start to think whether a lot of the paranormal has been mislabeled, like the poltergeists, for example. A lot of the cases where these interdimensional greys show up are the same cases that have a lot of poltergeist activities as well. And it makes me wonder what's the end, what was the goal of that? Why create this? It's some people would say they're benign, but I don't think that's quite benign to create a state of fear in someone.
Yeah, I agree. Well, when we talk a lot about common experiences, and yeah, you're right, Mario, we were talking about a common experience where a lot of people will see entities that look like shadow people, or what other people describe as shadow people, or shadow energies, however they want to describe them. I have had that experience as well because I was not well for an entire month. I had some issues. I had encephalomyelitis, which was something that affected my brain stem. So I don't really remember a whole month of my life. And this is like 1997-ish. But I do remember when I started to come back and remember things, there was a moment where I could hear everything that was going on in my house. Everybody was having dinner downstairs. I had a 2-year-old and an almost newborn at that time, and they were all downstairs. I was in my bedroom, and all of a sudden, these very tall, dark, hooded figures started coming out of my closet and started surrounding my bed. And that's when I thought, okay, A, am I losing it? B, do they actually exist? Are they actually here? And I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, they were still there. And then I thought, okay, and C, can I get rid of them? Because they're kind of scary. And am I going to die? I don't know what they are. So at that time, and I do remember seeing them and being afraid. And then I remember, okay, so how did you grow up? You grew up religious. So what do you do when you're afraid? You pray. So I started to say the Lord's Prayer. I closed my eyes, and I was expecting them to touch me. So I was kind of shrinking back in my bed. And then when I opened my eyes after I finished praying, they were gone. But I felt that there was this electricity in the air. And at the time, I kept thinking, okay, are these ghosts or spirits, or are they beings from another dimension, beings from another, I guess, maybe a level of existence that I'm not aware of, and yet they've come to visit me for some reason. So there's that interconnectedness when we talk about ghosts and spirits, and we talk about aliens and all of that, interdimensional, all of that, interstellar beings. Is there a connection between all of this?
So what I'm wondering is that, we know, or theory is, let's put it in that sense, that many people have evolved or were originally a galactic other being, like Palladian, for instance, Lyrian. There's several, right? Some are even intermixed, the whole bit. And what I'm wondering, this is, I was literally just thinking about this when you were talking about the story or telling your experience. I'm wondering if maybe people that have that past life of, let's just put it in that term, of interdimensional or, like from another planet, right? Like that could have been part of your past life, your construction, your original being, right?
Right.
Maybe those are the ones that these interdimensional beings are presenting themselves to. Because it's not everybody who is, seeing, UFOs. It's not everybody who's having those experiences, et cetera, right? But there is enough that, you kind of tend to wonder, are they coming? Yeah. Are they coming to like check in on you? Because again, I kept hearing watchers, like every time I've seen one or where they've appeared to me, it's like, I knew that they couldn't really do anything. It's like when you were saying, I felt like they were going to touch me, but I was like, no, they're not going to touch. Like they didn't touch her. I know they didn't touch her, but they were observing and maybe even watching over you, sort of in a place of protection, or to see if you were going to evolve yourself to the next level or what you were going to do, right? Like a watcher, like watching over what your choice is within yourself, right? So that's what I kept thinking. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm wondering if these beings are kind of checking in on their ancestors or like
the emissaries.
if you're going through the past lives, right? Like who's to say that they're not checking in to see, okay, where is this person? It's sort of like, it's like a time capsule. We're going to plant this time capsule and we're going to keep checking in on it and see how this time capsule is doing, through different centuries and through different bodies and through different experiences and through, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting.
That was just that hit my head,
Interesting. That's a great comment.
Yeah, it is, right? Like,
yeah,
there are watchers in all cultures, like angelic, fae, spirits, alien, and so on. I fully believe that. And, and I really do. I'm starting to think like maybe this is why, so many people are experiencing them. And quite honestly, another thing I was thinking about is there's so much going on right now spiritually. There's so much evil that is truly happening. I mean, we see this in entertainment where we're seeing like literal demonic symbols being shown on stage with some of these actors, singers, performers. Like they're not shy about, demonstrating their evilness, let's just say, right? And so you're starting to wonder, like, is this why the spiritual activity is kind of kicking up? But also the extraterrestrial UFO kind of activity. Is that what's happening here?
Well, this is what's interesting now, because it ties in again. Apparently the US government, or whatever forces you want to call them, one of the methods allegedly that they're using is some occult symbolism in summoning these craft, and they'll use them, they'll bring them in, and they'll have psychics take control of the craft, allegedly. Well, I mean, this has come out quite a few times now, but they'll land them and then go and retrieve them, whether they have occupants or not. Sometimes they're these beings gift these craft to whoever they've made the deal with. In this case, the Americans. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a story that keeps coming up.
Isn't that interesting?
Ooh, that's
So
interesting.
interesting. Yeah. Sparky, I so agree, but just too many mimic old symbols or reuse symbols when they don't know the meaning. This is the hard part of the intent of when symbols are used and how and why. Yeah, definitely, right? But it's just that we're really starting to notice it a lot more, and a lot of these symbols, a lot of these gestures, whatever, whatever it is, like they've been more prevalent, especially funny enough in larger demonstrations where that it's getting beamed or transmitted, let's say like the American Music Awards, something like where it's going out to millions of people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's interesting. I had done this event yesterday, and there was a very interesting person who came to look at the display and to talk about ghosts and spirits and hauntings and aliens and all of that. And he said something really interesting. He said, that film that's coming out, this whole disclosure thing, right? And he said, I want to see it. And I think that, there's so much more to it. But he said, now especially, I wonder about all of the things that are happening in our world. And he said, how on the internet you see all of these skinny people and they're all taking these drugs and injectables and all of that. It's like they're trying to affect their blood and their DNA and all of this. And he said, I'm wondering if that has something to do with the whole equation. Because he said, there's all these videos, and I don't know if they're doctored, but there's like, they look like aliens. Their eyes are weird. Their skin is weird. He said, and this disclosure movie is coming up. Like, are we being told in little ways that, they're here, they're influencing us in whatever we do. And really, so many of them are actually, we're surrounded by so many of them. They're actually, extraterrestrials. And I kind of thought, okay, well, there you go. That's an interesting thought. But when I sat down and I thought about all those little elements, right, that he said, I'm thinking, wow, what do you think?
It starts coming together, right?
Right. And your brain goes, no, that's conspiracy theories. And then you go, but wait a minute.
But here's the thing, Lynda. Let me just ask you a question. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories, especially over the last 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but here's the thing. A lot of them are coming out and coming true.
That's crazy.
Sadly,
so I mean,
yes.
what people deemed, because I am to some degree a conspiracy theorist. I'm like right up there, in some aspects. And there's been a lot of things that are like, okay, but it's coming true. It's coming out. It's being revealed. It's being exposed. So all of these people that were like, it's now being shown, like. And I'm just going to say just one of them. And this has nothing to do with aliens. I'm just going to use this one really quickly because for some reason it popped into my head. But like ivermectin, for instance, everybody, it's first taste. Blah. And now it's coming out that this is actually good for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And a lot of people are discovering it. And so you kind of wonder, well, what was this narrative? So what is behind the narrative of a lot of these things that we were being told 5 years ago, especially by our Canadian government, just saying, just throwing that in there. But there was a lot of things that were coming through. And so when you relate that to aliens, when you relate it to, some of the things that we're now starting to see and experience, it definitely makes you go, huh?
It does make you go, because the same gentleman, he made me laugh at one point. And then when I thought about it, I thought, okay, I'm laughing. But he said, I read David Icke, right? I
Oh
know
yeah.
all about I know all about the alien people, and I know all about the reptilians. And I read David Icke, and when I first read David Icke, I went, "Ah, the man's crazy, right?"
Right? Yeah.
And now he's like, I'm looking for that book because it's like, okay, I put it somewhere, but now I really want to read it again with a different eye, with just a bit of a different eye. Not that I think it's 100% accurate, but I really do think that there's something that's not said that somehow was said in some of his writings. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you have a point.
Right? So Sparky says, my question would be, is this due to the internet to find symbols? I do agree with it on TV and stuff. We should not have some symbols broadcasted so bad. Absolutely. I 100% agree with it. I don't know if that was...
I'm going to throw this out here. If you do work with symbols and things like that, don't copy the symbols that are already out there. Symbolic work like that is something that's meant to come from you. You have to create the symbols for your own intention, not
for sure.
go out
For sure.
and, make a pentagram with symbols all around it. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know whose intention that was before.
Well, that's 100% it, right? The hard part is from everything we see, others see, and as soon as it comes to them to communicate, to not make jumps, but many things come together and relate across religions and beliefs. I would say, especially if like with this movie coming out and all of the things that we're experiencing, I think that people, and I remember mentioning this like maybe last year sometime, but I really think it's super important for people to really listen to their inner selves. And a lot of people are not doing that. They're listening to, what Joe Blow across the street has to say, or they're listening to this. And when you ask yourself a question, is this right? That's all you need to do. And you're going to start feeling it inside of yourself, and you're going to be able to judge that question. Like listen to your solar plexus, right? Like listen to your guts, your instinct. And you don't need to jump just because, and especially with cancel culture right now, a lot of people are really scared of standing up, and they're scared to say, no, this is not fucking right. This is not okay. And people are terrified of that. And I get that. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean you need to subscribe to it, or, you know what I mean? Like just basically, even if you don't want to publicly stand down, right? You don't need to do that. Especially people like in business of any sort, people that are like public figures of any sort. These people are coming after you. They're coming after you like a fucking pack of hyenas.
Oh, yeah.
And cancel culture is becoming like, if you don't subscribe to some of their lunacy, then they're coming after you, right? And the reason that I'm saying this is that even if you can't publicly stand up, do it on the inside and don't subscribe to the nonsense. Switch the channel. And when I mean switch the channel, that means if you have to, separate yourself from these people, do so in some manner or in some aspect, right? And it's a matter of like knowing your own morals, your own ethics, and trusting yourself. Have really strong boundaries in regards to all of that. And especially like with this movie coming out, especially with the things that are probably going to be broadcasted, we're going to have a better judge of who we are and what we individual believe in.
Yeah, don't let other people tell you what to believe. Don't let it happen.
And that's exactly it. And I mean, you don't have to agree with the other person. You don't have to, you know what I mean? But at the same degree, make sure that you're strong within yourself. Like that's going to be the main thing. What's that?
I mean, don't be afraid to have the tough conversations as well, because that's how, we end up making that change. Obviously, you want to avoid the conflict of it, but that's down to the other party if they want to have a respectful conversation.
Absolutely.
Address points, you know.
Well, and that's the hard part is like right now, we're not allowed. I'm just going to read what Sparky says. Be true to yourself, what you think and what you see. Too many don't say what they heard or see due to they think they will broadcast or heroic or demonic. Many good things look ugly, right? And yeah, you do need a good support system, as Nancy said. That's a really good point, Sparky, as well. But yeah, the problem is that as soon as you disagree, like I said, it's like hyenas, and they just come after you and they will rip you apart. And that's terrifying, especially if you do have like a business, or especially if you're, whatever it is, like, these people are like practically lunatics when it comes to this stuff. And, and they're ready to literally like tear each other apart. So just kind of take that step back, and just trust yourself on what you're hearing. What's that?
Turn the other cheek.
Well, yes and no, right? Yes and no. It is and it isn't, because if you turn to the other cheek, that means you're ignoring what's happening.
Well, I mean, you know what? Look at what happens in our own paranormal community. I mean,
right.
people put themselves out there all the time. Look at us. I mean, we're talking about a topic that is widely debated, but so many people believe in either one thing or another, and they'll fight you tooth and nail. But I mean, we put ourselves out there all the time doing what we do in the paranormal. So, you have to have an open mind. You have to look at it from different angles, right? Which is what we do. But I mean, there's so many people out there, and I know many of them that, well, Mario, you're laughing, but really, I mean, it's true, right? They look at you and they go, yeah, you're a little bit of a wing nut. And
well, I was just thinking, my favorite in the paranormal is, and I've been banned for this as well, is pareidolia.
Pareidolia, right?
We like half the people that talk about it act like they know what it is, or that they've studied the phenomenon. They'll go around making statements saying pareidolia, look it up, like they're like that. Anyone, like they're some master in it. The fact is, yes, pareidolia is a thing, but we don't know if it's tied into the paranormal. We don't understand whether there's a link, whether pareidolia is used by spirits or other entities to communicate. We can't just be like, no, it's dust. Well, everything around can be used as a medium for communication. You can't discount everything just because you want to sound like a smart ass.
That's right. 100%. Absolutely. Love it.
Before we go, I want to show you guys something.
Uh-oh. Okay. Uh-oh. We know it's serious because she's left the building for now.
There's a big bright light. We got a problem.
Oh, okay.
This is my baby. He's 21 years old. Say hi. Say hi.
Oh my God, 21.
Yeah. He's very big. He doesn't like being picked up. It's his choice to come and sit on you.
Beautiful. Okay, so what's his name?
Whiskers.
Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers.
21. And how are his vet appointments? Is he healthy? And
you know what? He's been to the vet once, and that was to get neutered.
Wow.
I honestly, every time I have taken a cat to a vet, they've been killed or dead. Like a week later, they're like dead or something.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, he doesn't go outside. He's just in the house, right? And unless I take him outside to brush him or something. But yeah, no, he's this cat. He acts like a kitten. He still jumps on top of my refrigerator.
Oh
my gosh. And he's a big cat.
He's a big cat. Cats come to the door. We'll have neighborhood cats come to the door and they'll sit outside and he appears and you can just still see in their face. They're like,
Oops.
Okay, we'll just
See, that's actually one thing that's quite interesting now, tying back to the disclosure day element, is that this, and what I was tying into the perception element is how some of these beings have this ability to give us this perception that they come to us as animals.
Mm-hmm.
And in Disclosure Day, the movie, that is exactly what they're presenting as well, with the deer, the birds. I mean, in the latest
My
trailer,
son mentioned, sorry, Mario, I didn't mean to cut you, but we were just having lunch supper and I was talking about the show, like what we're going to be talking about. And all of a sudden he just said, he was like, he says, I saw this video, Mom, of this goat that stood up on its hind leg and was luring chickens into an area.
Huh.
And I was like, what? And I was like, that's interesting because, and then you just mentioned that. That is so cool, Mario.
I need to see that video. But I'm just thinking about whiskers and perception. Again, I was going to ask you, how has Whiskers ever demonstrated like seeing something he's not reacted well to?
All the time. Yeah,
All the time.
100%. He used to, well, he still does to some degree, but I really think that he's kind of used to whatever is kicking around my house. Like I think he's just used to that. So unless it makes like a dramatic appearance or unless it's something different, but there was definitely times in the past where he would just be like, having a conversation with like the corner of the wall, meow, 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 meow. And, you're just like, okay. And it wasn't the chattering, you know what I mean? Like they do when they see a fly or something. This was actual, like, meow, 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 you know what I mean? And you're talking to, like, because you're literally looking at the corner of the wall. Like, it's not me, but you could swear that he was having a conversation. It was really interesting.
I often think that they come to us and that they are sort of superhuman, incredible little beings. Because if I were to write a cat food commercial specifically, my cat food commercial would be the cat who gets fed by the human and then looks at the bowl, loves what's in it, eats it all. And then as the human leaves, the little antennae would go up and would say, very good, human. I will report favorably to the high command.
Right? 100%.
When we take over the world, you will be spared.
Well, that's why a lot of people associate them as familiars.
Exactly. Exactly right. Totally.
Sparky, true, like ghost cats and dogs, they come to you, and if you do not notice them of your pet, it is a fae or entities.
Interesting. Yes, there you go. It's that change of perception, making you think it's one of the animals.
Right. Oh, thank you. Sparky, I truly appreciate that. But yeah, I used to actually. So it was interesting. My dog, I had two dogs that, unfortunately they passed away, but my two dogs and this cat here, they would actually, all three of them would sit at the bottom of the stairs and look up and just sit there and like, and you're like, well, my bathroom's upstairs. It's like, I don't need to use the bathroom right now.
No,
I don't need to for maybe a day or two. We're good.
It's like that clip of all the cats staring up at the light.
Yeah. But it's funny because people call him my familiar, right? And so he's definitely my kitty cat. But anyway, we kind of went over the time a bit, which is fine. God, this was so much fun. Truly appreciate it. Nice. Mario, we love having you here. Anytime. We know you'll be back because we love having you here with us. So, thank you everybody for watching. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for participating, and being a part of the show. We love it. We love all the comments. And thanks everybody for just supporting us, because it means it truly means the world to us. So thank you. And we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone, and have a good one.